What if I told you that most of the people around you, your coworkers, your neighbors, maybe even your friends who post vacation photos every other week, are quietly terrified about money? Not just a little worried. We're talking genuine, keep you up at night financial anxiety. A recent survey found that roughly 77% of Americans don't consider themselves financially secure. That's not a small slice of the population struggling. That's the overwhelming majority. And here's the part that really gets me. This isn't just affecting people who are broke. It's hitting people with good jobs, solid salaries, and full fridges too. So before we go any further, let's ask the obvious question. What does financial security actually mean? Because that word gets thrown around constantly and nobody really stops to define it. Most people assume it just means being rich or at least making a lot of money, but that assumption is exactly where things start to go sideways. Financial security isn't about luxury or early retirement on a yacht somewhere. At its core, it means you can cover your regular expenses, handle an unexpected bill like a car repair or a medical emergency, and keep your lifestyle going without reaching for a credit card in a panic. It's stability. It's the quiet confidence that a financial curveball won't completely derail your life. Now, here's where it gets interesting. According to a Bankrate survey, about 57% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency. $1,000. That's roughly the cost of a minor car repair or an ER visit with decent insurance. And yet, for more than half the country, that amount would cause a genuine crisis. Let that sink in for a second. We're not talking about catastrophic events. We're talking about ordinary, predictable surprises that life throws at everyone eventually. So why are so many people in this position? The easy answer, and the one most people reach for, is income. I just don't make enough. And look, I get it. That feels true. It feels logical. But let's break it down, because the data tells a very different story. According to a Lending Club report, over 1/3 of Americans earning $200,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. Read that again. People bringing home nearly $17,000 a month, and they're one missed paycheck away from trouble. If income alone were the solution, that statistic simply wouldn't exist. What's actually happening is something called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the sneakiest financial traps out there. Here's how it works. You get a raise, maybe a big one, and for a brief, beautiful moment, you feel like things are finally going to turn around. Then, almost without thinking, you upgrade. A nicer apartment, a newer car, better restaurants, fancier clothes. The spending quietly expands to fill the new income, and 3 months later, you're back to feeling just as stretched as before. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour in more water, but if the hole keeps getting bigger too, the bucket never fills. Think about this. Surveys consistently show that people believe they need more than they currently earn to feel secure. When asked, about 26% of Americans said they'd need at least $150,000 a year to feel financially comfortable, according to a YouGov poll. And 8% said they'd need $500,000 or more. Now, those numbers aren't based on actual living costs. They're based on expectation, on comparison, on the version of life they've decided they're supposed to have. And expectations, as it turns out, are a moving target. The moment you hit one income milestone, the next one slides further away. Here's a thought experiment. Say you're earning $50,000 right now, and you're convinced that $100,000 would finally fix everything. So you work hard, you get there, and for a few weeks, it feels amazing. But almost immediately, your brain starts recalibrating. Well, $100K isn't really that much in this city. Once I hit $200K, then I'll really be set. The number changes, but the feeling stays exactly the same. That loop, always chasing the next number, is one of the biggest reasons why financial insecurity persists, even among high earners. And the psychological weight of all this is real.
The American Psychological Association has consistently found that money is the top source of stress for Americans year after year. Chronic financial stress is linked to anxiety, disrupted sleep, strained relationships, and even serious health problems. And here's the cruel irony: the stress itself makes it harder to think clearly about money. When you're in a constant state of worry, you're more likely to make short-term decisions that feel good immediately but hurt you later. Impulse purchases, avoiding your bank balance, ignoring retirement accounts because the future feels too abstract when the present feels so overwhelming. Now, remember, this isn't about pointing fingers or making anyone feel bad. The system genuinely isn't designed to make this easy. Housing costs have surged, healthcare is expensive, student loans are a real burden for millions of people. Economic pressure is real and it matters. But, and this is the part most financial conversations skip over, external conditions explain only part of the picture. A significant part of what determines your financial situation is within your control. Habits, choices, how you respond to an income increase, whether you track your spending or avoid it, whether you save automatically or only when something is left over at the end of the month, which for most people is never. The financially secure people, the ones who genuinely sleep well at night, aren't always the highest earners in the room. They're the ones who've built a system. They know where their money goes. They keep an emergency fund. They invest consistently, even in small amounts. They don't upgrade their lifestyle every time their income ticks up.
According to research from Thomas Stanley and William Danko in The Millionaire Next Door, a significant portion of high net worth individuals live well below their means, often in modest homes, driving average cars, and prioritizing savings over appearances. What this tells us is pretty straightforward, even if it's not what most people want to hear. Financial security is less about the size of your paycheck and more about the choices you make with it. Your income sets the ceiling of what's possible, but your habits determine how close you actually get to it.
So now that we've established why most people feel financially anxious and why chasing a bigger paycheck isn't the cure, the real question is what actually works? Because honestly, that's where most financial conversations drop the ball. They'll spend 20 minutes diagnosing the problem and then hand you a vague spend less, save more line and call it a day. Not here. Let's actually get into it. The first thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is knowing your numbers. Not roughly, not approximately, actually knowing where your money goes every single month. According to a study by the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, nearly 2/3 of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy quiz. And you can't manage what you don't understand. So before you do anything else, sit down, seriously, block 30 minutes this week and pull up your last 3 bank statements. Go line by line. You will almost certainly find at least 2 or 3 subscriptions you forgot about, a few dining habits that are costing more than you realized, and spending patterns you genuinely didn't know existed. That awareness alone changes things. It's not glamorous advice, but it's where every financially secure person starts. Now, once you see where the money is actually going, the next step is building what most financial experts call a zero-based budget. The idea is simple. Every dollar of your income gets assigned a job before the month begins. Housing, groceries, transport, savings, entertainment, everything gets a category. The goal isn't to restrict yourself. The goal is intentionality. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has found that people who budget regularly feel significantly more in control of their finances than those who don't, regardless of income level. What's interesting is that the act of budgeting itself, not even following it perfectly, shifts your mindset. You stop being passive about money and start making active decisions. That shift is everything. Here's the next one, and this is probably the single most important financial habit you can build: the emergency fund. A basic, boring, sitting in a savings account emergency fund. Financial planners typically recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And yes, that sounds like a lot when you're starting from zero. But here's the thing, you don't need to build it all at once. Starting with a goal of just $1,000 creates a meaningful psychological buffer. That's enough to cover a car repair, an urgent medical copay, or a surprise bill without touching a credit card. And once that $1,000 is sitting there, the financial anxiety dial turns down noticeably. You stop operating in crisis mode, which, as we talked about earlier, is exactly the mental state that causes people to make bad financial decisions in the first place. What do you do once that foundation is in place? You automate. This is genuinely one of the most underrated financial moves available to anyone. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account the same day your paycheck lands, even if it's $50 or $100 a month. The reason automation works so well is that it removes the decision entirely. You never see the money sitting in your checking account tempting you to spend it. Research from behavioral economics shows that people save dramatically more when savings are automatic versus when they have to manually transfer money each month. Out of sight really does mean out of mind, and in this case, that's a feature, not a bug. Now let's talk about debt, because no conversation about financial security is complete without it. Not all debt is equal. A low-interest mortgage on an appreciating asset is very different from a 24% APR credit card balance. The type of debt that quietly destroys financial security is high-interest consumer debt. Credit cards, buy now, pay later traps, personal loans taken for lifestyle spending. If you're carrying balances like that, those need to be the priority. A common and effective strategy is the avalanche method. List your debts by interest rate, highest to lowest, and throw every extra dollar at the top one while paying minimums on the rest. The math is straightforward. The faster you eliminate high-interest debt, the more of your own income you get to keep each month. It's like giving yourself a raise without needing your boss to sign off. And while we're on the topic of habits, let's have an honest conversation about lifestyle inflation one more time, because this one catches people off guard every single time. The moment your income increases, your expenses shouldn't automatically increase too. That sounds obvious, but almost everyone does it instinctively. A promotion comes in and suddenly you're looking at a new car. A bonus hits and the apartment upgrade seems reasonable. Each individual decision makes sense in isolation, but collectively they ensure that no matter how much you earn, you always feel like you need more. The financially secure people have learned to sit with an income increase before reacting to it. Give it 90 days, let the raise settle. Then decide deliberately if any lifestyle changes are actually worth it. Now here's a stat that tends to surprise people. Research published in the Journal of Financial Planning found that individuals who invest consistently, even small amounts, over a 20 to 30-year period dramatically outperform those who try to time the market or wait until they have enough money to start investing. Compound interest doesn't care about your income level. It cares about time. A person investing $200 a month starting at 25 will end up with significantly more wealth at 65 than someone investing $500 a month starting at 40. Starting early, even with small amounts, is one of the few genuinely free advantages available to anyone. Index funds are a great starting point. Low fees, broad diversification, and no need to pick individual stocks or follow market news obsessively. Here's something worth sitting with for a moment. The people who feel the most financially secure aren't necessarily the ones driving the nicest cars or living in the biggest houses. They're often the ones you'd never guess from the outside. They drive reasonable cars, live in modest homes, and don't feel the need to broadcast their financial choices. But internally, they're calm. They sleep well. They aren't one unexpected bill away from panic. Stanley and Danko's research consistently showed that the majority of genuinely wealthy Americans built that wealth through decades of disciplined, unglamorous habits, consistent saving, avoiding debt, and living well below their means. So what's the real takeaway from all of this? Financial security isn't a destination you reach when your income finally hits some magic number. It's a state you build, One habit, one decision, one deliberately skipped impulse purchase at a time. Track your spending, build your emergency fund, automate your savings, tackle high-interest debt, resist the pull of lifestyle inflation, start investing early, even if the amounts feel embarrassingly small at first. None of these steps require a finance degree or a six-figure salary. They require consistency, and that's something every single one of us has full control over. The people who take these steps, even imperfectly, even slowly, will look back in 5 years and barely recognize their financial situation. Not because their income changed, but because their habits did. And that's the part most people are never told. The version of financial security you've been waiting for isn't on the other side of a raise. It's on the other side of a decision you can make today.